Hello, Jude. It's December 22nd, Tuesday. No, sorry, it's Wednesday. Wednesday, December 22nd, 4:28 p.m. It took like 2.5 minutes for the camera app to open up this time. It's so weird. It's like a blanket wrapped around the stoplight pole here, and this one too. I wonder what that's about. It's like they just redid these sidewalks. Oh, I know what's going on. Yeah, the city's redoing, this is 2021 and this and that. The city's redoing 3rd Street. Yeah, red light. You probably should have been slowing down sooner, idiot. All right. God, fucking people in their cars. Yeah, this corner, if I remember right, used to be the Los Olivos car wash. It's been sitting vacant for a while. So yeah, it ended up being a waste of time over at U-Haul, and it's on me, for oversleeping so bad today. The general manager, his name is Jose, and I got his card, which at least I've managed to hang on to his card. I'm feeling good about that, but. The cashier that was there said that he had already left for the day, so I missed him, and that sucks. I'll try to get to the other side of the road here. So he already left for the day, and I guess that's to be expected. It was probably about 4:15 by the time I got over there. Kind of some weirdness on the bus coming over, which has me wondering if they've changed the Route 44 schedule to reduce service even more. Or no, I'm sorry, not Route 44, the Route 17 schedule. So as you saw, I was in the last video, I was waiting for a Route 44, which I checked the app and it was there pretty quickly, so I got lucky and timed that one pretty well, and it was on time, which was a novel change for the 44. Anyway, it got me down to McDowell really quick. That's only a half mile, and plan was to take the McDowell westbound over to 24th Street and then walk over to the U-Haul, which is honestly one of the main reasons that working there appeals to me, because it's someplace I can actually get to fairly easy, and as I've done several times, it's not a big deal for me to walk down the Greenbelt to catch the Route 44, or is it? So it used to be Route 44, or I'm sorry, I keep saying Route 44. I mean 17, McDowell bus. Walk down the Greenbelt south, catch the McDowell bus, Route 17, right there at 48th Street, by the 7-Eleven. Across the street from the break room. I've done that a few times, and it's always worked out really well for getting on that bus. Now it seems like every time I kind of stopped doing that, and honestly, it wasn't a problem with catching the bus there at 48th Street in McDowell. It just seemed like the 2 times that I did that, the one time I was trying to go to the Social Security Administration office, and just the transfer to the Route 8 southbound was just really ill-timed, and it wasn't even a matter of buses running late. I mean, it was scheduled. It was just poorly scheduled. As I've said many times, just buses are scheduled to where the transfers just really don't work. And I was like, yeah, it'll be a whole lot faster to walk than it would be to sit here and wait for this bus that doesn't even get me the whole way anyway. And funny, I'm shooting on the NUU phone, and come to think of it, that was the first video that disappeared as a result of this phone sometimes saving videos weird, to where when I open it up in the gallery, it says that it's in an unreadable format. So yeah, that was actually the first of 2 videos that I lost off of this phone, the last one being a couple days ago. So anyway, it's a bummer because that was a pretty interesting walk, and I was talking about just how I had gone into detail as to what was wrong with the timing on the buses and the routing of the buses, trying to go from McDowell to south on 7th to get to the Social Security office. And then, of course, the other thing that I got on video that ended up not getting posted was the overwhelming amount of trash on the overpass there across I-10 on 7th Avenue. Really wish I knew exactly what's going on with 3rd Avenue, or 3rd Street right now, because I tend to forget about it because I'm not driving, but what a mess this is. And of course there's not a bus route on the street, which, it makes sense. There's not a bus route on the street. 7th Street has got a bus route, and it's a quarter mile to my east here. At least this time of day, I checked, it's running every 20 minutes. I thought about taking it on up to Thomas or Virginia, and then, walking to the clinic from Virginia. But God, I don't see why the sidewalk is closed. The sidewalk seems fine. It seems like they got me out on the street for no reason. This is weird. These barriers, I feel, don't really give me a lot of protection against a car that could easily plow into them while they're not paying attention. In fact, I'm going to cut over to the sidewalk, because the more I think about a car slamming through these barricades and me getting hit by a car and barricade, the less comfortable I'm feeling. Yeah, there's absolutely no reason for the sidewalk to be closed, none whatsoever. So I'm walking down the sidewalk. Anyway, so I looked at it was running every 20 minutes, but it looked like I had just barely missed a transfer. And had I known the bus that I was on was going to sit so long at the corner of 7th Street, I might have still gone ahead and done it. But by the time I figured out what was going on with that, my bus was back in motion. And it's like, well, nah, it'd do me good to walk up 3rd Street and maybe shoot a video and explain what's going on. To the west of here, a quarter mile, is Central Avenue. And on Central Avenue, you've got the Route 0. I'm honestly not sure how frequently that runs. And then you've also got the Valley Metro Light Rail, which through this part of town stops every half mile. I do find it peculiar how the light rail in some areas stops like every half mile, which prevents it from making much better time than a bus. And it seems like the top speed on our light rail here is only 35 miles per hour. So, that's something else that prevents it from being a very effective form of mass transit. I've sat near the front where I can watch the operators running it. And yeah, it does have the advantage of lights that are specifically timed for it. So it does get through intersections faster than, and it, of course, being on a rail, not in a lane blocked by traffic, it does do that more efficient. But 35 miles per hour, come on now. We're in a city where the average person drives, and the average person is on a freeway where they're doing like 75 miles per hour getting around. So yeah, 35 miles per hour is not really comparable at all. And that's why other cities that have mass transit light rail systems and mass transit systems are way more functional than here. Like when I was in Denver, the light rail system in Denver, it doesn't stop every half mile. It stops at stations, and at those stations are transfers to buses that run locally. And then there's a lot. Usually the stations are located where there's a lot of stuff, whether shopping, residential. Granted, it's massively overpriced residential, but residential regardless. But most importantly, transfer to local bus routes and points of interest at those stations. Between the stations, most of their light rail is not run on. It's not run in the middle of the street like it is here. It's run on. Actually old easements from freight rails, because there used to be a lot of freight rails that ran through the city of Denver, because Denver's a lot older than Phoenix. And of course, those are no longer used for freight rail, since freight within cities for a long time has generally been done by trucks. But those easements were there, and it did make for an easy way to put in those those light rails, and those trains go really fast between stations. So it gets you from station to station quicker than you can drive. Not so in Phoenix. Our light rail, 35 miles per hour, going up Central stops every half mile. Now going down Washington, the stops are spaced quite far apart, and I almost feel like it's like this is considered a more desirable part of town, so they want it stopping every half mile, whereas Washington is, generally speaking, going through the hood. So let's not make that visible to the people that are riding the light rail. Let's not get that riffraff onto the train. That's what it feels like to me. I was definitely doing some work on the sidewalk here. Anyway, I'm almost to the clinic. I just crossed Hoover. Next light up there is Virginia, and I think the clinic's the next block past Virginia. A long time since I've come up to the clinic from the south. I don't know that I've ever done it on foot. I feel like I've always come up to the clinic from the south driving. God, and I haven't drove in like 3 months, other than a couple of random stints on other people's vehicles. Sorry, I'm talking in circles. I'm not making a lot of sense today. So anyway, today's agenda, which pretty much all went to shit when I slept in so deep and so late. In fact, I was awakened by somebody outside my window yelling where Priscilla lived. Apparently her account on DoorDash doesn't, based on the conversation that the very loud delivery driver had with her, her account on DoorDash doesn't include the apartment number for some reason. And I don't. I'm just like, wow, you got money for DoorDash, and I'm just living hand to mouth right now. That's awesome. Anyway, yeah, I guess I should be glad at least something did wake me up. So a little bit further over, I just so comfortable being that close to cars that are put in weird limited space. So anyway, yeah, so I kind of a semi-worthless day because I started so late. There's no point in me trying to get towards absolutely no point in me trying to get towards what do you call it, the QT, where the guy was doing fraud yesterday with my card, because I do remember the clerk that I talked to on the phone. He said that the manager leaves at 3 p.m., so I missed him completely. I tried to see Jose at U-Haul, missed him. I think it's too late to try and catch up with Ken down at Electronic Records of the Maricopa County Superior Court. And I question if he's even in. Like this, something that I don't think I've ever actually talked about in my vlogs, but something I've certainly discussed with a lot of people, is that there's a funny little 2 to 3 week window with the Superior Court that exists from around December 18th until usually around January 4th, 5th-ish, where they run on a shoestring staff. Most of the judges are on vacation. Most of the upper management, which I believe Ken would be considered, being that he's kind of got a unique position, but he is the head of a department. So most of those people are on vacation. Now, honestly, I don't know if Ken is working or not. He might actually be, just because he's overseeing something that's technical, and I doubt he has there's a lot of people in that building that are qualified to troubleshoot should something go wrong with FTR. But generally speaking, during that time period, there are no scheduled hearings. Most everything gets put on hold. Obviously, things that have to happen because of for legal reasons, because they're on a time schedule, are going to happen. Obviously, arraignments are happening every day. If somebody has invoked their right to a speedy trial and it and it lands during that week, it's going to happen. It's going to have to happen. But as a general rule, no hearings get scheduled. Now, granted, I have a lot more experience with the family court than I do the criminal court or the regular civil court. In any way, what often happens with the family court during that week is a lot of really messed up emergency petitions for change of custody, because it's a lot of people know, it's not exactly a secret. A lot of people know that the judges that are familiar with the cases are on vacation, but an emergency petition has to be heard immediately, as long as on paper it looks like a significant emergency, which most of the time it really isn't. But these emergency petitions, they end up getting seen in front of commissioners that are really unfamiliar with the cases, and it's shocking how many bizarre, in highly contentious custody cases, how many bizarre changes of custody happen in the last 2 weeks of the year because of them being seen by commissioners that just don't know the cases. They just kind of, and things not getting served, and it's kind of a weird clusterfuck. Anyway, the more I think about that, the more I think that maybe the next week, next couple of weeks, is just not the best time to try to see if I can get Ken to pull a favor for me and get a job with FTR. But it's certainly something that's on my mind. I would love to work for FTR. Anyway, with all that said, one thing that I can still stop at, that I'm not too late for, is LifeWell Mental Health Clinic. So here I am, and hopefully I can find out when my next appointment is with Lisa. Anyway, thanks for coming with on the journey.